Here he is from New York, that Kevin McCullough.
You just can't put me in a bad mood if we've got Christmas, the sounds of Christmas going on. And again, a big thanks to Mel Tunney and the Dream in Color Singers for the holiday renditions of the That Kevin Show theme. We've got a lot to enjoy this Christmas, and I'm so thankful to be able to spend some of it with you. I also want to say thank you to those of you that gave last week to our CSI ongoing initiative, the attempt to end slavery in our lifetime, because we are liberating slaves that are actually enslaved in northern Sudan these days. And because of your generosity, there are a number more that have been freed this week. And as you can see on the screen, we are getting closer and closer and closer to hitting that goal of 192 slaves freed. And I want to make sure that all 192 are liberated by Christmas. These are primarily Christian women that were taken captive, many of them when they were just young girls. And so it's been 12, 15 years in captivity. And to be able to give them back for their Christian Christmas holiday, their freedom, their life, and a brand new beginning is just one of the most incredible things that I think could be done. And it's one of the reasons why I've been so thankful that so many of you have, for the last number of years, joined with us in these endeavors, because we've liberated all in close to 4,100 women in the last 10 years or so, with the gifts that you've given and the advocacy that we've done, and my family getting involved. Somebody asked us going into Giving Tuesday last week, hey, how many slaves, are there left in Sudan? And I said, well, at the peak, there were about 185,000 women that had been taken into slavery. Because of the efforts of CSI and people just like you, we believe that number to be now closer to 35,000, which means more than 150,000 slaves have received their liberty and are living brand new lives in ways that they could not have expected when they were in captivity. I've told you the story of some of these women. They are marched off. The way that their lives are upended is almost identical to what happened to the people that were living in southern Israel on October 7th. The Arab forces came in, ransacked the villages, burned things to the ground, shot the men, killed those who resisted, and for little women and children that they could take and that would not create a problem, they just marched off into slavery into the north. And this was a subjugation of the Christian women in the South to the Arab masters in the North, and this is done on purpose. It's a tool of warfare. It's a key. Manipulation is a key in terms of having power and so forth. And so this is what was done to these innocent women, and many of them forced to change their Christian name to a Muslim name, forced to be sexually subservient to not only the master, but sometimes his sons, sometimes his friends, sometimes given out as favors to people that he was trying to ingratiate himself to. Talk about a completely demoralizing and utterly helpless and just kind of, I think you would become numb after a while living in this type of existence. But that's just part of the abuse. They were verbally abused by oftentimes the slave master's wife, because if the slave master wanted to sleep with the slave instead of the wife, she took that personally. And so she held that against the slave. There is a word that they have in Sudan that we don't have an English translated equivalent of, that is so dehumanizing, so profane, and so vulgar. We can't even tell you what it means in English, because it's that and that's what they're called from sunup to sundown. They're not allowed to find people from where they're from. They're not allowed to talk to people outside the home. They're not allowed to eat much of anything other than what's left over for them by way of the scraps of the master's table. And when one of these women is liberated and is brought back home to South Sudan, the first thing they say is, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so indebted to the people that have done this, that have shown us this kindness. But the second thing they say almost as quickly is, don't stop until we get all of them out. And so with 35,000 or so to go, we're doing what we can. We found 192 of them specifically this year that we know we can free. We know their name. We know where they're at. The negotiations for some of them have already been secured, and some of them are back in freedom already. Earlier from this year, there have been a couple of liberations that have already occurred. But the remainder, the just few that we have left before we hit that 192 number, I don't want to leave a single one of them behind. I want every single one of them liberated this Christmas. Now, your gift of $250 affects not only them coming to freedom, but it really lays the foundation for what their new life is, because the $250 basically supplies the bag of hope, which is everything they need to start their life over again. It's a year's worth of food. It's a year's worth of seed grain that they can plant new crops for. It's utensils to cook and prepare and sew and fish and do all kinds of things with. It's netting and bedding and things that they need to protect themselves from the weather and to stay warm. There are things included in there like a Bible. There are things included in there that they need, medical needs. Women need feminine products. There's those types of things that are also included. And then the kind of the piece de resistance is that every single one of these women will receive a kid goat, a she-goat that will be of goat-bearing capabilities. And when they have additional goats, when they are able to make the milk and cheese that the goat will give them, then they are going to be able to help provide for themselves going forward on an ongoing basis. So you're not only liberating them, you're not only giving them the key to restarting their life all over again, you're helping them live their life for years to come, because they will have this kind of micro enterprise ability of being able to take care of themselves, which is really exciting. Here's the number, 888-342-1010. We need 10 more people to go to the phone and say, yeah, I'll liberate one slave. It's $250 one time. You can do it. You can break it up over 5 months at $50 a month. You can do $125 a month for 2 months, whatever you need to do. But would you help us get past this 192 number? Those are the names that we had on the list at the start of the year. I don't want to leave a single one of them out. Please, please, please be generous. 888-342-1010, 888-342-1010, 888-342-1010, or bringherhome.org.
Here we go, that cannon show.